Welcome to day 13 of our school year. Go ahead and highlight that day. All right, our beginning fraction. Well, we have a total of 180 school days. We are on day 13. Now we want to look at our numerator and ask, is it prime or composite? Does it have only two factors or more than two factors? If we look on our prime number sieve, 13 is prime. If it's prime, then we are done with our factorization for 13. That's it. So all we have to do is our prime factorization for our denominator. I'm going to do my upside down division. 1 plus 8 plus 0 is 9. 9 is a multiple of 3, so I can divide by 3. I get 6 groups of 3 out of 18, but since we have a placeholder here, we need a placeholder there. 60 I can divide by 3. I get 2 groups of 3 out of 6, and then my placeholder. Still composite, so I keep going. I can divide by 2. I get 10. 10 is still composite. I keep going. 10 is even, so I could divide by 2. I get 5. 5 is prime. I am done. These are all my prime factors from 180, so I need to write them down as a factorization. That means as multiples, multiply together. So I start from least to greatest. 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. So I have 2, 2, 3, 3, 5. I have them all down. And then the prime factorization for my numerator is just 13. Now I want to see if I have any numbers in common. Now I do have a 3 and a 3, but I'm looking for the number 13, not common digits, common numbers. So I have 13 here and no 13 down here. I have no 2, 3, or 5 up here. So there's nothing in common. When there's nothing in common, my greatest common factor is 1. So we're going to make groups of 1. Done. How many total groups of 1 are there? Well, each square is its own group. So we have 180. And how many are shaded in? There are 13 shaded in. Okay, now let's prove it with our math. We're dividing everything into groups of 1. So 180 divided by 1. Let's see, 1 times 100 is 100. Numbers the same, zero's the game. More on top, no need to stop. Numbers the same, zero's the game. I'm going to bring 80 up here. Okay, and oops, 1 times 80 is 80. Numbers the same, zero's the game. No more to do. Add my partial quotients. 100 plus 80 is 180. Now I do the same for my numerator. Now you could get to these quotients more quickly, but remember, you can use what you know to get there, even if you don't know all your multiples. 1 times 10 is 10. More on top, no need to stop. Numbers the same, zero's the game. Bring 3 up here. And then I have 1 times 3 is 3. Numbers the same, zero's the game. Okay, add up my partial quotients. 10 plus 3 is 13. Now I need to check them. My divisor times my quotient plus my remainder. Since my remainder is 0, and the identity property of addition says it's going to stay the same, I don't need to add the 0. Same with this one. Divisor times quotient plus remainder. And then what I have here is the identity property of multiplication. It says when you multiply by 1, it stays the same. 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 8 is 8, 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 1 is 1. 180, that matches my dividend here. 13 matches my dividend here. So that is our check. And our fraction is definitely 13 over 180. Let's go ahead and fill in our data collection page. Okay, so we are still in trimester 1. We are now on week 4. Today's date is 8/26/19, and our fraction for today is 13 180th. 13 is a prime number and is not a factor of 180, so our greatest common factor was 1. We did groups of 1, so you do not have to get out your number line. I just want to show you that right here is our 13 180th. There's no line below it. The only equivalent fractions would be if we cut these pieces up smaller, so like 26 360ths, or cut them even smaller. All right, go ahead and erase your worksheet, and thank you for joining me.